Hello students and welcome to Online Conversation Club. Today we are going to talk about money. So, what is money? Money is one of the most important things in our daily lives. We need money to buy almost everything we need and everything we want. We work for money. Money can drive our emotions. It can make us feel happy. It can make us crazy. It can make us angry, sad, worried, content, or even comfortable. Money is probably one of the biggest things in our lives. Whether we like it or not, we have to have money. We have to make money. We need to eat, right? And you have to buy food with money. So that's why it can make you feel many different ways. If you have a lot of money, maybe you'll be happier, or you could go crazy if you have too much money. Also, if you lose your money, you'll be really upset, right? You'll be sad, you could be angry. Someone might steal your money, you'll be angry. Maybe you're worried you don't have enough money and you have to pay a bill. So it can make you worried. Maybe you have enough money and you live a pretty comfortable life. You have a TV, you have a nice house, you have a car, you're comfortable, you're content. So, what is money to you? Everyone has different ideas about money. Some people, they really want to be rich, they want to be famous and have a lot of money. Some people, they're happy with not so much. They're minimalists. They don't need too much money to be happy. So why don't you pause the video and take a minute to think. What is money to you? What role does money play in your life? How can you describe money? Do you want a lot of money? Are you happy with a little bit of money? So take a minute to think about that, and when you're ready, you can start the video again. Alright, welcome back. So let's go over the definition of money, the essential meaning of the word money, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary. So the definition is something such as coins or bills used as a way to pay for goods and services and to pay people for their work. And an example sentence is, dinner cost a lot of money last night. Or, we were charged a lot of money for dinner last night. So let's go over this. Money, everyone knows what money means. It's an easy word, but the overall concept of money is a little bit more complicated. So basically, money is just like something you pay with, like a dollar or a manat. Also, it's what you make after you work. You work for, let's say you work for 8 hours. You get money for 8 hours of work. Alright, so let's talk about the history of money. So did you know that thousands of years ago, people didn't even use money? They just traded goods in exchange for other goods. So can you imagine a society when you don't use money? For example, a long time ago, people would trade animals like sheep for apples. So they're not using money here. They're just trading one good for another good. The first guy wants apples, so he's giving his sheep to the man who wants a sheep. So they're just trading two goods. So maybe the first man is a farmer who specializes in raising sheep. He's a farmer and a shepherd. The second guy might be another farmer that specializes in growing apples. So they both have their own specialty, and they trade with each other the things that they make for what they want. This is called bartering or trading. So bartering or trading, it's when you trade one good for another good. There's no money involved. You just trade one good for another good. So let's say I make clothes and you grow apples. You want clothes and I want apples. So I'll trade you some clothes for some apples. Right? I'll give you a shirt and you give me a bucket of apples. Easy, right? It sounds simple. But what if you want clothes but I don't want your apples? And what if your apples are rotten? They went bad. Of course, I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to give you any clothes because I don't want your apples. So what are you going to do? You don't have anything to trade because all you do is grow apples. And that is exactly why people created and started to use money. Because if you don't have something to trade that other people want, then how are you going to get the things that you need? That's why people started using money as like a medium. It's like a medium in between the goods. You have one good, you sell it, you make money, and then you use that money to buy another good that you want. That way, you can buy whatever you need without having to trade. So, today, money is in the form of paper bills, like as you can see, these dollar bills right here, coins, and also recently in the past few like decade or so, cryptocurrency, which is like a form of currency that's mined online, and it's starting to become a bigger thing in the world, and people are using it a lot more. But thousands of years ago, when money was first created, people didn't use paper bills or cryptocurrency. Maybe some coins, but there was other mediums of exchange. So can you take a guess? What are some things that people could have used in the form of money thousands of years ago? Take a few minutes and try to write some things down or think of it, and then come back to the video. Alright, so welcome back. Let's take a look. Alright, so thousands of years ago people used gold as money. And even today, gold is still a pretty valuable form of currency. Like you can pay for things in gold. It's still possible some places. But why did people use gold so long ago? Because gold is rare. It's not common. And it's also, you can break it up into pieces and weigh it. So that means it's not very heavy. You can make it into different shapes, and it's durable. It's solid. So you can trade gold for goods. Like for example, if I make clothes, I can give you some clothes, and you can give me some of your gold, and then I can use that gold to go buy some food. Just a basic example. Also, of course, silver. The same idea as gold. Silver silver has been used as money for probably thousands of years. It's a valuable mineral, and just like basically the same idea as how gold is used. Also, seashells. Did you know that thousands of years ago people used seashells as a form of money? Because seashells are hard, they're durable, they're countable. You can't really make a fake seashell, right? You can't make one at your house. You have to go out and find it. And there was different types of shells that people used as money, especially people like tribes who lived near the ocean. they would collect shells, rare types of shells, and use this as a form of currency. Also, did you know that people used to use livestock as money? And even some places today, people still use livestock as a form of money. So, you know that, like, this is a cow right here. Cows are pretty expensive animals, especially if it's like a really strong, well-bred cow. It could be maybe thousands of dollars, and they live relatively long time. They're strong animals, so people would use cows as money. So let's say I wanted to buy a house a long time ago, 1,000 years ago. I wanted to buy a house, and I gave you maybe 5 cows, and you give me your house. So it's like a form of money. Would you ever use livestock as a form of money? Probably not today, but it's an interesting idea. And there's many more things that you could use as money. It just has to be something that's not so common, something that's valuable, something that you can move from place to place, and something that you can't easily make a fake one of. Like, for example, I can I can't make a fake cow, right? It has to be a real cow. Just like it's hard to make fake money. So it can't be something that you can easily fake. So can you think of any other things that people could have used as money? Okay, so many countries have their own currencies. So what is currency? Currency is the system of money. So for example, Azerbaijan's currency is the manat, the Azerbaijani manat. And every currency has a code. So the code for Azerbaijani manat is AZN. The currency of the United States is the dollar, the US dollar, USD. And many countries in Europe use the euro. So at the bottom you can see every currency has its own symbol. First the manat, then the dollar, and then the euro. They all have their own symbol. So take a minute to think, how do you usually spend your money? What do you buy? What do you like to buy? What do you use your money for? So you can pause the video, you can say it out loud, or you can think it, write it down, and then when you come back, I'll give you some more questions. Alright, so I'll tell you how I usually spend my money. I like to buy food, of course, like everyone else. I pay my bills, I pay rent, I pay for the bus ticket, pay for the metro. But let's think of some other things, some fun things. How do I like to spend my money? Sometimes I like to buy games. Sometimes I like to buy maybe like music or songs or something like that, or watch or pay for a movie. I don't know, anything like that. Okay, so do you guys usually pay for things by cash or credit card when you buy things? What do you prefer to use? Some people might only use credit cards, some people might only like to use cash. So what do you prefer and why? What's the benefit of using a credit card and what's the benefit of using cash? So for me, I prefer to use cash than a credit card. I'm always worried because if someone steals your credit card, then they can buy a lot of stuff and you'll get in trouble. But cash, I think there's less risk with cash. But a benefit of having a credit card is that you don't always have to carry cash in your pocket. So, do you ever lend money to your family or friends? Why or why not? So, to lend money means you give somebody your money for them to borrow, and then later on, they pay you back. So, let's say that your car broke down, your car isn't working, and you don't have any money to fix it. And I give you $100 to fix your car, but I expect you to pay me back in the future. So that would mean I lent you money. I am lending you money. So what about you? Do you ever lend money to your family or to your friends? Okay, so for me, I I would lend money to someone who's really close to me, someone who I trust, but I wouldn't lend money to someone who I don't know very well. If it's a lot of money, I mean, like maybe if my brother or something needed like $20 because he needed to buy something, he didn't have the money. Yeah, I would lend the money to him. It's my family. But someone I don't know very well, I probably wouldn't lend them too much money because I don't know if you can trust them to pay you back or not. All right, so what about this? Have you ever borrowed money from somebody, and what for? Maybe I know sometimes people, when they want to buy a house or they want to buy a car or something really expensive, they might borrow money from a bank, and then over time they pay back the bank that money. Like you buy a car, it costs, let's say the car costs $10,000. You don't have the money, so you borrow the money from the bank, and then every month you pay the bank back $100 until you paid off the full amount that you borrowed. So what about you? Have you ever borrowed money from somebody, or have you ever borrowed money from a bank, and what for? Okay, so the next question. Do you guys have your own bank account? I think most people, especially if you're working and have a job, would prefer to have a bank account. So what's the point of having a bank account? Why would it be better to keep your money in a bank than keeping your money at home? Okay, so for me, I think sometimes it's if you have a lot of money, it's safer to keep it in a bank than at home because what if something happens to your house? What if someone robs your house or maybe your house burns down? Then you'll lose all your money. So sometimes it's safer to keep it in a bank. Okay, here's an interesting question. In your country, how much do you tip waiters or waitresses? I'll tell you, in the US, generally, it's common to tip a waiter or a waitress 20% of your bill. So, for example, if you go to a restaurant and your meal costs $10, you should give an extra $2 as a tip to the waiter. It's about 20%. And if you don't give a tip to your waiter, it's considered very rude in the US. So I know in some countries it's different. Some countries they don't tip, or maybe some countries they don't even allow you to give tips. Also, some countries it's required to give a tip and you don't have a choice. So what about in your country? How much do you tip? Okay, and the next question. In your country, which jobs do you think earn the most money? So in the United States, I would say usually doctors, lawyers, um, maybe like surgeons. They usually earn the most money. Also CEOs of a company, like if you own a successful business or a franchise, usually those people earn the most money. Those are the types of jobs that earn the highest income or the highest salary. So what about in your country? Maybe are doctors, do they have some of the highest salaries, or is it a different job? Okay, so the next question, have you ever invested money in something? What does it mean to invest money? Do you know? So to invest money, it means you give money to something like, for example, you start a business, right? Let's say you start a coffee shop or a cafe, and you don't have enough money to start your coffee shop. But somebody says they'll give you $1,000 so that you can start your business. And they expect over time you pay them back $1,000 plus some extra money, like interest. So that means they're investing in your new business. They're investing in your new cafe because they believe that you're going to be a successful business person and your business is going to be successful. So they'll give you money, invest money in your business with the hope that you will pay them back plus interest. So what about you? Have you ever invested money in something? Have you ever maybe invested money in a business, or you could invest in the stock market, or also these days people usually invest money in cryptocurrency. Like you'll buy you'll buy a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and you hope that the price of Bitcoin goes up, so that means the money you make more money than what you put into it. So have you ever invested money in something? Okay, and that leads us to the next question. Do you use cryptocurrency? Have you ever been interested in using cryptocurrency? Alright, and now what is your most valuable possession? For some people, maybe their car, their house, or maybe jewelry, like these like rings, gold rings, their most valuable possession. What is worth the most amount of money? And have you ever had any good money making ideas? Like maybe, for example, you thought of a interesting business idea, something that you believe will make a lot of money, like a new idea that no one's thought of yet, and you want to start a business about something. So I know we have some people who always think of good business ideas. So what about you? Have you ever had a good money making idea? So as you can see on the screen, some of these things, or I mean all of these things, were successful money making ideas. So for example, we have a phone, a watch, and a microwave. So why do you think the money making objects below were successful? I'll give you a minute to think about it. You can say it out loud or write it down. Why were these successful? And then we'll come back and talk about it. All right, so welcome back. So the phone. Why why is the phone successful? So how many years ago? I don't know. 30, 40 years ago, people didn't really use phones like cell phones. I know cell phones. People did not use cell phones that long ago. So when someone invented the cell phone and people started using them, well, now everybody uses them. So of course it was successful. So why was it successful? Because it revolutionized something in the world, something that everybody uses now. You can't really live a normal life without having a cell phone, right? And even now, more recently, you can't really even live a normal life without having a smartphone, like a phone that has access to the internet. You need to check your emails for work, or you need to go on the internet to look for something. It's pretty hard to live without that these days. So it's a pretty successful idea. And then the watch. Why is the watch successful? Well, because people always need to know what time it is. Before watches, people just used the sun to tell what time. But now, because everyone everyone needs to get places, everyone needs to be places, go to work, go to school, go to class. Everyone always needs to know what time it is. So that's why the watch is a pretty successful object. And then the microwave. Why do you think the microwave was such a successful invention? Well, I, I don't know about your country, but in the United States, almost everybody has a microwave in their house. Microwave is probably the easiest way to heat up your food. You just put a plate of cold food in the microwave. You just press a few buttons, and then in a minute your food is hot, and it saves people time. So that's why I think it's pretty successful, because it saves a lot of time, and it makes things easier. All right, so let's go over some idioms about money. So I'm sure in most languages you have idioms about money, but in English we also have some. So the first one we have is money doesn't grow on trees. So I'll give you a minute. Think about the meaning. What do you think this idiom means? Money doesn't grow on trees. And then we'll come back and I'll explain it to you. All right, so the idiom money doesn't grow on trees. What does it mean? It means that you should be careful how much money you spend, because there is only a limited amount of money. Like, you don't have all the money in the world, right? It doesn't just grow on a tree. You can't just take money from a tree. It doesn't grow, right? You have to earn money. So people say money doesn't grow on trees when they see someone spending too much money. Like, or also when like a child is asking for a new toy, an expensive toy, the mom or dad might say to the child, "We can't buy that. Money doesn't grow on trees." It's just like you can't just always buy whatever you want whenever you want if you don't have enough money, because money doesn't grow on trees. It's not always available. All right, so now the second idiom. It's pretty simple. Time is money. I think everyone can understand it, but take a minute, write down what exactly does it mean. Time is money. All right, so did you think of any ideas? So time is money. It means that literally time is money. Time is valuable, right? when you waste time, you could have been doing something else. Like, for example, time is money. So if you spend an hour watching a movie, or you spend an hour studying for your test, what's going to help you do better on the test? The hour watching the movie or the hour studying? Of course, the hour studying, because you studied more and you know more for your test. If you watch the movie, you wasted an hour of time. So time is valuable. You only have 24 hours in one day, right? Time isn't limited. You only have one life. You only have 24 hours every day. So that's exactly why people compare time to money, because you need time to get things done. You need time to make money. And if you waste your time, then you lose the time and you can never get it back. If you waste 1 hour in your life, then you'll never get that hour back in your life. That's why time is so valuable. Time is like a resource or a commodity. That's why people, like, some people in some professions charge you for their time. Like, if you hire a lawyer, they might charge you, I don't know, $20 for 1 hour of their time. So they help you, they work with you for 1 hour, you give them $20. So they're measuring their salary by how much time they work. So that's another example. Time is money. Alright, and then the last saying, money doesn't buy happiness. What does this saying mean to you? And do you think it's true? Because I hear this one all the time. Money doesn't buy happiness. So take a minute and say, what do you think about this? Or write down what you think about it. And if you think it's true, maybe some people don't think it's true. Maybe some people think money can buy happiness. But talk about it with yourself and write down what you think. Alright, so what did you come up with any ideas, and what do you think? Does money buy happiness, or money doesn't buy happiness? In my opinion, I think it can go both ways. Money can sometimes buy a little bit of happiness, but money isn't everything when it comes to happiness. Like, if you have enough money to live a comfortable life, a normal life, like you have a house, you have enough money to buy food, to have a family and that kind of stuff, then yeah, money buys some happiness, like it gives you a comfortable life and you're happy. But money doesn't buy things like love or friends, real friends, I mean. Those are types of things that you can't buy with money. So money might buy some happiness, but it doesn't buy all happiness. So in general, overall, money probably doesn't make you 100% happy. So what about you? Do you agree with me? Alright, so that's the end of the conversation. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you can join next time.